Hello everyone. The following is going to be a cooperative channeling between Adronis and RaYaR. And Adronis and RaYaR are basically going to be speaking about the present energies and of course moving into 2014, which has been termed as the year of unfoldment. So Adronis and RaYaR will be coming through in their own different ways, here and there taking turns, and let's just see exactly what they have to say. So I'll go ahead now. Adronis will begin, and of course RaYaR will follow. So here we go. We are here at this time, and we bid you greetings, and thank you very much for the opportunity of this interaction today. I am Adronis from Sirius, accompanied by RaYaR, the singer of Sirius Light. We shall firstly begin relating to the idea of your, shall we say, present state of energies upon your planet, leading into that which has been labeled as 2014, the year of unfoldment. The collective consciousness in that sense is going through an uproar, but the whole idea is that these tidal waves, these immense currents of energy that are flowing through your planet are all part of the plan. Now, we're not going to say fundamentally if this is positive or negative, it simply is what it is. The whole idea is that as you begin to observe many of these energies that are taking place upon your world, you will therefore give it meaning. You will therefore assign particular forms of understanding of essence to what many of these situations bring about. The end of your 2013 year truly represent the idea of moving into a year of upliftment and into a year of unfoldment. The whole idea is that as you are moving further and further into the establishment of your own unification as a species, what you would understand as your corporatocracy, your political agendas as you would understand them, your financial systems relating to, in that sense, of specific states of embezzlement or corruption in that way, are all beginning to degrade, are all continuing to, shall we say, fall apart at the seams. They are crumbling apart, and you are noticing this across the planet. This will only continue to, shall we say, sink further and further. Very similar to the idea of your ship, the Titanic. It is, shall we say, up in the air and ready to plummet into the sea. So, the whole idea is to understand that, shall I remain upon this sinking ship? Or shall we go to the lifeboats? And shall we transform those lifeboats into our own beautiful yachts and make our particular attempts as a species to bring Earth more into a higher vibration, a higher frequency from what we prefer, rather than what we have been told to prefer. So again, this is what represents the culmination of energies of 2013. That there will be, shall we say, new innovations, new creativities, new ways of understanding the basic principles of your daily lives, in regards to the understanding of new medicine, into the regards of the understanding of new educational factors, into the understanding of, in that sense, increased agricultural awareness, into the understanding of, shall we say, assisting others, bringing them into the true health care that is contained within each and every single one of you. This is where you're moving more into the end of 2013 and bringing yourself more into the early stages of the new year, of the year of unfoldment for your 2014 year. RaYaR shall now continue this conversation. One moment, please. Beloveds, what a beautiful way you have of expressing yourselves on your world. What a beautiful way you all have of sharing your love, of sharing your appreciation. Not through the way of feeling that you had to physically retaliate from all of these systems that have all represented downfall, that have all represented the opposite polarity of self-mastery. These are all meant to fall apart. These were all meant to dissolve in the background. And so many of you have done the most beautiful job of simply stating through your voice, of simply stating through profound humanity interaction, no thank you. We no longer want to have these systems on our planet. They are no longer necessary. And as you have faced many different aspects of retaliation from the opposing factors, you have never stepped away from your own grace. You have never stepped away from your own divinity. This is the aspect of your graduation. The aspect of moving into higher ground, higher frequency, to helping you understand how you can evolve as a culture. And the very, very beautiful thing is that many of you don't see this through yourself. But we see this as observers. Not just Adronis and myself, but many other different civilizations are seeing this. No matter how much retaliation, no matter how much darkness you feel has come into your lives, you've been able to transcend it. You've been able to surpass it. And we wish to send you our love and our appreciation, our gratitude, and our congratulations to many of you. You are moving so deeply into a whole new earth. You are moving so deeply into a whole new time where you will be able to work together with each other as one mind. That many of you, again, may not realize, but your individuality is not as it once was. So many of you are able to feel each other's energy, feel each other's emotional state, and when one of you becomes harmed, so many of you are ready to reach out your hand and pick that individual up because they are you and you are them. And we see this more and more throughout the times. Even though there are certain factors, certain pockets on your planet that may be distorted, within those distortions exist the sparks of light. And these are the lights that we see. Darkness is all meant to be submerged. It is all meant to be engulfed through the rays of light that are coming through. And we wish to share our rays of light with you now. RaYaR. What we will share additionally, beloveds, is the way of your nature. Are the trees and the plants that surround you, the dirt beneath your feet, are begging for your attention. So let the year of 2014 in the way of unfoldment be your communication with the soil, your communication with the earth, your communication with the trees and the vegetation and the beautiful animals that surround you. They are all here for you. They are of service. They are the health care that you have been looking for. Placing yourself beside a beautiful forest, leaning back against a tree, will bring you more healing than what you would understand as many of your pharmaceutical pills. Being out amongst the garden, digging through the earth with your bare hands, and placing the seeds, specifically containing your own essence, by imbuing your own DNA upon these seeds. The more people that are able to do this, the more people will be able to truly understand how Earth is transforming. Because you need to feel it through the earth. You need to feel it through the animals. You need to feel it through the trees and through the bushes, through the flowers. That is how you know you are truly moving into a higher dimensional earth. With the mechanicalized earth of much of the technology, you cannot see it. For it represents superficiality, and we are not in that sense degrading technology, as technology can have its own purpose. However, you have the ability to transform technology not to be harmful, but harmless. The integration of nature is your key to assisting in the appropriation of redefining your technology. This is all within your grasp, beloveds. Let us return now to Adronis. We are here, and we will speak in regards to the idea of much of your technological aspects, yes. The whole idea is that your common particular degrees of technology relating to EMF, ELF dispersion in that sense, can be granted through the use of particular crystals, what you would know as smoky quartz, what you would know as fluorite, and several other different types, can in that sense subdue many of these different EMFs or ELF, shall we say, bombardments. But the whole idea is to move up the frequency range. It was all based upon your Nikola Tesla in that sense that wished to operate much of your wireless technology through the means of extreme higher frequencies. So literally being able to produce and manufacture other particular technological aspects that are coherent and in that sense complementary to your daily living in that sense can be brought forward through the implementation of new invention. Look towards your grassroots for this particular states of achievement. Other particular degrees that we would share is looking more into the idea of foundation establishment through the growing grass, rather than feeling that you are still looking to pursue governance. As long as you pursue governance, there will always be inequality, simply because the governance in that sense, as you understand it to be, still function within a hierarchical platform. Now it is possible in that sense to have cooperative governance, but let that not be through the fundamentals of, shall we say, a minority-adjusted system. Rather, the whole idea of being a republic-based community. This is where many of you are going, is that the individual is able to literally bring themselves into the aspects of their own growth, of their own development, of their own lifespan. It is not really, in that sense, about a democracy. It really is not about that sense of any particular governmental enforcement or governance in regards to laws. We're meaning this in the most honest way possible. Your laws are meant to be broken, simply because any time there are restrictions based upon the limit of expressions, there will always be those that wish to test those limits. if you truly wish to have a society that is truly functional in the way of unification, let it be in respect to the individual, to which the republic idea is what is to be conveyed. Now, this may still be some time before this is fully established upon your planet. However, there are particular movements, particular gears that are in motion, that are bringing forward these ideas. As RaYaR was able to address, relating to, shall we say, playing together with nature, bringing forward your energies and working together with the planet. This is what's necessary. This is what many of your indigenous cultures have been sharing with you for generations, for you to literally bring about your cooperation with the earth, creating community gardens if you literally do not have your own backyard, using your balcony to have troughs of dirt and placing food there. You have no idea of the energetic exchange you have with the earth when you bond together in growing your own plants, in growing these seeds. They are bringing you into higher dimensional connectivity. You truly will feel the fourth density integration as you work with the earth. That's why you're all here. And as more of you continue to work with the earth, much to what represents, shall we say, these opposing aspects of technology, or opposing aspects into what you feel is detrimental to nature, will begin to subside, because many of you are turning more to nature and less to technology. So again, we ourselves are not bashing your technology, but they are meant to be contained within an equal ground, even a little bit more so towards nature rather than the idea of technology. And so it's very, very important that if you can move into the aspect of, shall we say, developing your own community garden, bringing your own garden together, this is the recommendation that we would give. Why is 2014 considered to be the year of unfoldment? Because again, as we stated, that, shall we say, like the Titanic, that sinking ship, shall we say, is basically moving deeper and deeper into the ocean, and you are really only going to see a tip of it remain in 2014. By 2015, it will be completely submerged in the ocean, and it will continue to sink and sink and sink. By 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, it will hit the seabed. That's the whole idea. So this is basically giving you the idea of the phasing out of what you would consider to be the old paradigm, the feeling of, in that sense, disempowerment. By 2020, that feeling of the dispersal of the old paradigm will really, in that sense, be at the bottom. It will barely be noticeable at that point, because many of you will move more into the fundamental phase of looking into your own self-construction, your own self-direction of where you feel you want to go on your planet. And this is where Earth's, shall we say, destiny lies. That the people will always be in charge of their own lives. And so basically, you have a little bit of, shall we say, an over 6-year window for this to be achieved. By 2020, in that sense, it will be the integration of a whole new era, a whole new phase. Now again, we don't want to go too deeply into the future, as you understand it to be, but mostly focusing upon this coming year. We will now return to RaYaR for her sharing relating to the 2014 year. One moment, please. Beloveds, as you continue into your 2014 year, you will start to notice that there will still be certain earth changes that will take place here and there. But what has started to take place a lot more stronger in noticing the idea of many of the earth changes that have been happening are your own dedications to basically soften the energy blow of many of these energetic shifts, of many of these particular forms of storms and earthquake activity that has been significantly reduced in regards to its result of, shall we say, catastrophic proportions. Even though there have been intense storms, there have been intense seismic activity, etc. Much of these, in that sense, have been placed within smaller group areas of your planet to where much of the expected feeling of toll that would represent devastation has been subsided. All you really have to do is cooperate as one mind. This is where humanity is at its greatest apex, is when it feels threatened by many of these changes being seen upon the horizon, whether it be storms or whether it be seismic activity, whether it be floods or drought. You all come together. You simply are in the vibration of service. Again, from the example that we have given, when one of you falls, so many of you reach out your hand to pick that individual up. Because again, you see them as yourself. So, this is basically what you can work more towards. We understand that many of you have your own ways of how you wish to do this. Many of you wish to bring about the physical aspects. But I'm going to go over there and I'm going to provide blankets, I'm going to provide clothing, I'm going to provide this. That is fantastic. Many of you will get into meditation and attempt to shrink many of those storms, attempt to reduce much of the tectonic activity, the seismic activity, and that is fantastic. Let your own energies guide you towards your resolve, as those resolves are what are going to bring forward the whole idea of stabilization upon your planet. These pockets in certain areas relating to earthquakes, relating to floods, relating to hurricanes, are all part of different degrees of purging. Some of them have been artificially created, yes. But again, the whole idea is that through much of that artificial creation comes a benefit to where many of those energies are being submerged, even through artificial creation. So, nothing really happens upon your planet without it benefiting in some form, even though other aspects may be, shall we say, somewhat clouded in regards to the process of negativity. But again, as all of these energies escape, as all of these energies are being culminated, you have the ability to resolve them. You have the ability to shrink them down. That's the power each of you have. Into 2014, this will still continue. Into 2014, be again very aware of much of the new technologies that are coming upon your planet that represent a service to humanity. Again, looking into new energy. When you are looking more into healing, rather than moving into nature, of being amongst the trees, amongst the grass, the soil, the animals, you will discover that there will be more fundamental benefits as you continue to play with the aspects of monoatomic elements, literally making them airborne. This is a particular form of mist in that sense, like a humidifier, utilizing specific condensed versions of monatomic elements that will literally exist within your atmosphere of your own personal space. This is what you can utilize to literally invoke further higher frequency through your body. 2014 will be a splendid year. It will be a divine year. For many of you will see everything that you have planted in place in years past, that those seeds are now becoming sprouts. And sing with joy, and sing with love, and sing with devotion as you continue your path. It's all about your value, beloveds. When you go out in nature, and you are surrounded with the flowers, the grass, the trees, let your voice be heard. The power of your own sound is greatly underestimated on your planet. For those of you who have the natural ability to sing, let your voice carry itself into the higher regions of frequency. As you begin to sing throughout the environments of nature, nature begins to sing back to you. This is one of the grandest states of healing. It simply is about resonance. And for those of you who are able to sing the frequencies of light, you will be able to move more into greater health. You will be able to assist others with greater health. So let 2014, let the remainder of your 2013 year be all about resonance, singing the frequencies of light. One particular recommendation that we would give is if you were to imagine that the sound you carry through your voice emits specific colors of light. That many of you may literally sing within the violet spectrum, within the indigo spectrum, within the aquamarine spectrum, within the green spectrum. Imagine what colors you are seeing as you continue to sing. And we say this especially to those individuals who feel that they cannot sing. Liberation functions very deeply with the course of song. Liberation is achieved greatly through the expression of sharing your voice. This is again a grand healing. Let the light carry you to the frequencies that are apparent of your spirit. We now return to Adronis. We are here, and we shall conclude this particular interaction with each and every single one of you today. Again, understand that, like the Pandora's box, that upon the year 2014, once this box is opened, it will not close. And again, understand that the energies that will be emitted through this particular box are neither positive nor negative. They are what you make them to be. We thank you very much for the opportunity of this interaction today. On behalf of Adronis, on behalf of RaYaR, we send you our unconditional love and our unconditional appreciation. Thank you very much. Farewell for this timing, and we now return to the conduit. Goodbye for now.